Joining us for the second edition of the Left Click Culture podcast. My name is Chris, and I'll be one of your three co-hosts today. I'm joined by Joe
Hey, how's it going? My
and
name's
Nick,
Joe.
Hello.
and this is going to be the sleepy, lazy edition of Left Click podcast because it's 9:30 at night when we're doing this. So let's have some fun. Today we'll be talking about video games, just like last time. A little bit of design stuff, just like last time. And we're going to get the ball rolling with touching up on some Overwatch stuff because it's a game that we're still playing, still having a ton of fun with. And just kind of want to ask, how's Overwatch going for you guys? How's it been going since last week's podcast?
I got a
Um,
bit. Oh,
oh,
sorry.
God.
You go, Nick. No, you go.
Oh,
No.
pretty good.
No.
About the same. Can't complain. I'm having
Good,
fun with it.
good.
Yeah, I mean, I got a little bit rusty because I wasn't playing.
Yeah, I think I
Uh,
did too.
but besides that, no, I think it was. I think it's been fun and picked up a couple other people to play with. We played with a larger group, and that was interesting seeing how we could balance that out. So I think it takes an actual team really to work together to make a strong team effort to win. I guess you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
I would agree also.
It's kind of what we learned.
Have you guys been testing out any new heroes? Or you just been sticking with
Nope.
your normal people?
I mean, I normally use a bunch anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so it's pretty much more of the same.
How about you, Joe?
Yeah, I
Got
mean,
anybody to know?
like I was playing a little bit of Genji, and the other day, and when I stopped playing, I think it's it's one of those classes you have to play to kind of stay decent at, and kind of stop playing it. So basically, I picked up Pharah again and started using area damage because area damage is awesome.
Funny you should bring up Farah. Did you guys see that complaint that Notch voiced about Farah?
I did
Uh,
not actually.
Alright, so his big complaint was that as a character that's all about mobility, being up in the air, moving around, like causing chaos that way, her alt brings her to a screeching halt and makes her arguably more inaccurate than the turret who has an alt that makes him more mobile and more accurate. So I was curious to what you guys think about that.
Um, I don't know. I think it's fine. Her ult's pretty powerful,
Yeah,
so
it's good for shutting down those choke points.
yeah. Essentially, I don't know. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
So
He just thought it was ironic that the highly mobile character has a turret like alt, and the turret has an alt that makes him highly mobile. That was
I
all.
Yeah, I
guess
mean,
I think it's just
sure.
notch being notch.
Fair enough. It's also true.
I don't think it's a valid complaint, you know?
And why was that?
It's like, I've played Pharah enough to be able to sneak behind people and pull off an ult and kill five people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 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 not one of those things where you're just gonna jump up in front of the whole team and kill them all. That's not like that. That's not what the class is.
Mm-hmm.
The class is more sneak, more, surprise. You can launch up in the air and attack them from higher in the air,
Right.
too. So, I
Yeah.
mean,
Okay. I was just curious. I only play Pharaoh when we need a second one. Pharaoh's by no means my best character, so I was curious to what you guys thought of it. Just in general, I thought it was a interesting point that he brought up about how the alt are
Yeah.
kind of hyperbolic in that regard. But anyway, continuing on with Overwatch, now that we've kind of covered all the bases there, we have comp supposedly coming up pretty soon, and I know that's one thing that we've been looking forward to here. You guys still looking forward to that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it'll I think make the game play differently because people won't just play whatever they feel like it. Um,
Hopefully.
I'm hoping. I think maybe in the beginning it will at the lower ranks, but once you get to usually it's how it is with any game that's kind of has a ranking system. is once you more, get towards the middle ranks to the higher ranks that people actually start playing the game,
Mhm.
actually competitively and not just however they feel.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. I think it'll take a little bit of time to weed out those people who are just like, oh, what's this? Maybe I'll get lumped in with some good people.
Oh, it definitely will, from my experience in other games.
Makes sense. How about you, Joe? Still looking forward to competitive?
Yeah, I mean, I think what Nick said, you know, when you present like if they come up with like a ranking system or something, it'll force people to have to, you know,
Mm.
play the game the way it's meant to be played because if you don't want to play with somebody who's just shooting the wall or you know what I mean, like if
Yeah.
you know, theoretically if somebody's never played a ranked game before and they really don't care, eventually at a point in time the game's not going to be fun anymore. And if it's something that they care about, they're going to want to improve at it. So
Right.
I
Yeah.
think, yeah, eventually
Makes sense.
they'll try to work their way up.
Yeah. Now, what are you guys looking forward to about like I guess the matchmaking system for comp? Are you looking for something like CS:GO where you can choose your maps
I don't think
before
it'll be
you
like
log
that.
into comp, or do you think it's just gonna be like, okay, this map or this match is gonna be ranked, but it's still gonna play pretty much like quick play?
Um, I'm fine with it being how it is now
Okay.
because I think it works well for this type of game. Um, Maybe, in the future, once the game matures a little bit, to see how it plays out.
Right.
But I'm fine with how it is right now, personally.
Okay. How about you,
You're,
Joe?
you're talking about like how you would queue for the ranks?
Yeah, do you want to see like some sort of pick ban system with the maps? Do you want to see a system where you can choose which maps you want to play, or
Yeah,
are you
I'd like
expecting
to
it
be
to
able
be
to
just like
pick
quick
maps.
maps? Okay.
I don't think it will be that way, but I'd like to be able to pick maps.
Okay.
So I definitely have a preference, but
Yeah, there are certain maps that I know I hate. Like right now
yeah.
on stream, we're looking at a clip from Anubis, and it's a map that I'm not a fan of at all. I think the choke points are too tight, and it's really tough to get going if you have like, well, this is speaking in general in the unranked mode. If you have like an uncooperative team, it'll just keep running through like that main archway, and sometimes it just feels like you never break through that arch no matter what you do. But we can chalk that up to playing with randos, so
Yeah,
that'd
I
be
mean,
interesting.
it's a lot of the maps are pretty easy once you figure out what you have to do and you have the right heroes to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But that also depends on who you're playing with. So,
Yeah. Okay, I'm back. Computer took a dip for a second there.
A dip?
A dip.
You swimming?
Oh, I
Boy.
wish I could go for a swim right about now. Yeah. So the other big news coming out of the Overwatch camp this week, and the Blizzard camp in general, is that Blizzard is going to soon allow you to log into their games with Facebook and stream them through Facebook Live. And I personally think that's kind of neat. Get a whole potential new audience there. People don't have to sign up for a second account. They can use an account they already have to play Blizzard games. Whether it just be like Hearthstone or even Overwatch now.
I think it's neat. I mean, I don't really use Facebook, so I don't know. Cool, I guess.
Well, yeah, I don't think it's targeted for people like you and me though, who already have a Battle.net account and we use the launcher and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think?
I don't know. I think the people that are playing Blizzard games are already there. I mean, I get they're trying to build their audience and releasing an FPS,
Yeah.
but the people that are using Facebook right now are not the people that they're going to attract to their games.
I don't know. I could see some people picking up like Hearthstone maybe.
Possibly.
Yeah, I mean Facebook's Instagram too, so
Mm. Now, do you guys see streamers picking this up to like hit their Facebook audience if they have one? That way, say that someone's already on Facebook, they don't have to migrate to another page to view the stream, or do you think that it's one of those things again where they already have their audience on different platforms and that's where those people are going to
Um,
be?
from my experience, a lot of streamers have stopped using Facebook.
Okay.
This is actually something I read earlier in the week. Jericho specifically
Okay.
stopped using Facebook because he would have 10,000 likes on his page. As an example, it's more than that. But his posts would only be reaching about 300 people unless he paid for it. Which, I mean, if you have that many likes and it's only reaching that many people, I can see why you wouldn't want to use it.
Oh yeah, Joe can tell us all about that.
And I think that paying for, I mean, it's advertising, but I don't know. Personally, I think it's stupid.
It is a shitty feeling when you feel like your posts aren't reaching the audience that you already have engaged. Not even when you're trying to engage new people, but hey, these people have already liked my page and they're still not seeing my posts. What's up? And it could be anything from like the time he posts to how buried it gets in the feed and what sort of priority it has, and if people are on like their most recent feed, or if they're on the aggregated feed, and all that kind of stupid stuff.
Or if they've muted him,
Yeah.
Oh,
unfollowed
I mean,
him.
that's very true.
And it's like I think even if you don't reach people on Facebook, you should still post on Facebook and have a Facebook. That's just my opinion. Like
Yeah. I mean,
everything
go ahead.
everything kind of pushes into SEO and you being found. So like the more content you have in general, the more relevant you are to everyone and everything.
Yeah.
So even like influencers are they have to have something in their formula where and I don't know what their formula is because it's probably some intricate little thing, but that people that are influencers get increased uh, views and they're pushed more often because they have all the content and stuff like that.
I agree to an extent. I mean, I think that I see it as almost wasted effort if you're
It's
putting
not
all
an effort
this
though.
I
this
have
work.
seen him get some dash attacks though, so that's something.
Yeah,
Kind of,
depending
it
on
is.
how they go about, generating their post, it could be something as simple as clicking the Facebook button whenever they push the post live.
I don't know.
Yep.
Well, I have a differing
And that's
opinion than
arguably the worst way to do it, but that's a whole other thing that we might discuss in our branding section if we choose to keep that going along. About creating a unique experience on all your social media platforms and how effective it is in keeping your audiences engaged.
Engaged.
Mm.
Congratulations.
But yeah, so I'm curious to see how this works out. I know I'm sure as hell not streaming on Facebook because most of the people that I'm friends with on Facebook don't give a rat's ass about it. For the longest time, they know that I'm streaming on Twitch, so I'm not too worried about streaming on Facebook. I've seen brands like Achievement Hunter and Rooster Teeth start doing like random Facebook live streams, but it's not been for games. It's been like, oh hey, we're messing around in the office. This is what it looks like, kind of stuff. So in the end, I don't know how effective it'll be, or to what extent they're looking for this to be effective, besides maybe aggregating some sort of new audience for their more casual games.
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
It's Facebook's mission.
Take over the world.
Facebook mission. Give people the power to share and make the world more open and connected.
This falls into that mission statement. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
So
If
I guess
people are
it's
streaming, they might as well use our site, right?
right. Yeah.
That's me dropping my phone. So yeah, just wanted to touch bases on Overwatch because it's still a game that's on our minds and the minds of many. I've even seen new people who said they weren't going to pick up the game. So, still going to be playing more of that. Still looking forward to comp by the sounds of it. And yeah, if you haven't played it yet, check it out. It's worth looking at. So, other than Overwatch this week, we had the pleasure, I'm going to say pleasure in air quotes there, of playing the new Twilight Forest map in golf with your friends. And that was interesting. It's weird seeing like a single map like that being added to a game with such little content to begin with, because we blasted through it. We did like the normal, oh, this is how you play, and then we did our version of it, and it still didn't even take us that long to do it, or at least that's what it felt like to me, at least.
I don't know. I felt like it was about normal, like lengthwise to what we did. We just played one game of each, or, before we played like
Yeah.
5 or 6.
Maybe it's because I'm holding in a comparison to that first time that we played it, where we just played it for so long.
For like 8 hours, 10
Yeah.
hours.
And
This
we
is the
only had
greatest
2
game
maps
ever.
in.
We're
Yeah.
good.
I mean, I still think it's a very good game.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
still had
I-
fun playing with it.
I don't think I can play that much anymore.
Nah. It's definitely gonna be like a hop in, check it out, like maybe play it with viewers at some point kind of thing. But yeah, the pace at which they're releasing content for that game and the fact that we picked it up so early, it's gonna make it tough to like stay active in my
Well, they
gaming
did say part
library.
of the problem was the whole name change issue they had.
Yeah, I didn't really hear anything about that until you said it, and I was just like, oh, that's weird. I wonder why they did that. Do you know anything about why they chose to change the
It
name?
was just a copyright thing, I guess, and they didn't really have a choice.
Ah, that sucks.
I mean, they didn't say much more than that.
So yeah, legal disputes, I could see that tying things up a little bit. So I guess we're gonna have to keep an eye out on the release schedule for this next map and see if they end up saying something like Blizzard and doing something else. If everything's just gonna become soon TM with them, or if we're actually gonna get content from them. Yeah. I was gonna say something about that map pack. It was neat. One of the things that I don't think is, or I hadn't known going into the video or into the map, is that a bunch of the courses, like the individual holes, were designed by community members, it looked like, or at least somewhat influenced by community members.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. The signs was like,
Mhm.
"This is made by JDog 706."
Yeah. It was pretty cool. I'm curious to see if they're going to take that same approach with the Haunted Mansion, or if it's because, again, that they were tied up with possible legal disputes, that they're just like, oh, hey, we need help. Like, come help us out.
They're gonna have to change the name from the Haunted Mansion to the mansion that's haunted. Something like that. Mansion Haunted Ave.
There you go. Boom. Figured it out.
Now I copyrighted that because I said it on the internet. So
That's how copyright works, right?
you have to. It is.
Nowadays.
Yeah. I'm still really hoping that they're either going to do their own map maker within the game, or if they're going to open up workshop support, because that'll help the game out a ton. Especially if there's apparent community interest in making maps. And I think we can kind of see... Oh,
Nope,
ahead.
no, go ahead.
I think we can kind of see, like, some of the seams on the courses aren't that well hidden, so you can see, like, oh, this is what this square of putting green looks like. So, like, they just stitched a bunch of these together, essentially. So those assets are there, the individual pieces of the course. It's just a matter of will they release those to the public or not.
I think they'd be stupid not to make some sort of like map editor later on down the road. I mean, that's the type of the game that just will thrive off of something like that.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, you're essentially generating free content for your game that you don't even have to make, and it keeps people coming back to it.
Pretty much.
It's just a matter of them figuring out how to actually implement that, because it's pretty apparent that they have difficulty figuring out how to implement their own ideas. Not to harp on the
No,
game too much.
It's still in early on stages, so I'm
Yeah, that should be noted, as I keep forgetting that it is an early access game
giving
still.
my hard opinions for later on. So
There are those people
we'll
out
see.
there who say as soon as you start charging money for it, the game's out, and it should be open to critique.
Like Joe.
I don't agree with that.
Like Joe says that. Like Joe.
Don't agree with
Joe.
that at all.
Joe says that.
You, Joe, or different Joe?
Like me.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah, anyway, any other opinions on golf with your friends?
No, I'm trying to figure out how to build a Facebook bot right now. That's how much I care about golf with your friends.
Alright, thanks for
no, it's
tuning in.
a lot of
You know, it's fun. I think we played a lot of it already.
Yeah.
You know, we've played a lot of
maybe too
hours
much of
for
it.
yeah, for a game that's not all too in depth, I guess.
Yeah.
It's really fun. Like I could probably play it every day for a couple holes, just because it's relaxing. It's not too challenging.
Mm-hmm.
I do actually like playing the ball because
Now
I
that
think
we
it's
visited,
huh?
now that we've revisited the ball, you like playing
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think it's just it makes it challenging, but it's more natural.
it? Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like I don't. I think it's cool to be playing puck on the computer in the first place,
Yeah.
and the puck is cool to change it up. But I think I like the ball better.
Makes sense. Okay. Yeah, here's to hoping for continued support for that game because we'd like to keep playing it. All right. So, have you guys been playing anything new, interesting this week?
No, not really. Same
More Hearthstone and
stuff.
Overwatch.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All
I
right.
don't think I opened anything else up.
Nice. I haven't either, which is odd for me because normally I'm playing like a handful of games at once. I haven't even hopped on GTA to check out their new, whatever you want to call that DLC yet. Just because
Yeah, I keep getting ads for that on Twitch.
Oh yeah, Twitch, Twitter, promoted posts everywhere. But yeah,
Supposed to be on these things, Chris. Come on.
I just haven't checked it out. I've
New
been
games.
Oh, I do have one thing that I want to add to the schedule at
Okay.
some point.
You can. It's an editable document. Go right
Free
ahead.
time. I don't know when
It's
we have
edible?
when you would want to throw something in or when
Well, what is it?
Call of Duty Champs got announced for COD XP.
Oh yeah, I think we're pretty much done with
Yeah, let me
new
just throw it in.
games. Yeah,
Um,
go ahead and bring
Hey,
it up.
yeah,
just-
COD
let me
XP
just
got
take a look at
announced
that.
for the first time since Modern Warfare 3.
For
And
those who are unaware, can you explain what COD XP is?
so essentially, it's this big extravaganza that Activision throws to show off their multiplayer and stuff for the new Call of Duty. They haven't done one since Modern Warfare 3, where they originally started essentially the $1 million tournaments. It was the very first one. They did paintball, they did Jeep rides, a bunch of other stuff, and you got to play Modern Warfare 3 before it came out. So
Oh,
this
that's
year
pretty
they're doing the same thing. It's Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, and you get to play Modern War or COD 4 remaster early. So potentially going. I hope.
That's exciting.
See, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. So
Yeah, I saw that Hex and Nadeshot got their invites already.
yeah, it was a bunch of pretty much any like Call of Duty YouTuber got an invite and stuff. A lot of the pro players did because they're having the Call of Duty Champs, which is the league that's going on right now. Their tournament is going to be finals are going to be there. So go and watch that if you're there.
Go do that thing. That thing you do. I
Yeah.
personally haven't touched Call of Duty in any serious capacity since No, that's a lie. Since Black Ops 2. It's the last time I played it with any active interest in the game. I own 3 and I kind of mess around in it. So
I got Black Ops 3. For PlayStation, I played a lot of it. I was thinking about playing some matches every once in a while, but as Overwatch is out, I've been kind of dedicating my time to that. But no, I mean I've always liked Call of Duty.
mm.
Um, I think it gets a bad rap for the most part. That's my opinion. There are some very questionable games. Don't get me wrong there, but it's still fun.
Yeah, it's
Find enjoyment in it.
fun for what it is. I think.
Exactly.
I think it's hard
Yeah,
for
no,
people
that-
to argue.
That got announced, so hopefully gonna go.
Nice.
Be a good time.
Oh yeah, it should be interesting to see the impressions of mainly Infinite Warfare. I think we pretty much know what everybody's going to say about the 4 remaster.
Oh yeah, I mean I have zero doubts. Like yeah, it is Infinity Ward, but I don't I don't see them messing up something important like
No.
that.
So yeah, I guess for me, I'm more curious as to what people are going to say about Infinite Warfare after getting their hands on it.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely interested to see. I mean, last year, with Black Ops 3, they did the multiplayer reveal at E3.
Mm-hmm.
This year, they're doing it at September at COD XP, so it is a little bit of a difference.
Fuck you, we're going to have our own event.
That's pretty much what they're saying. I mean, I'm not gonna complain because um,
It's the
you
way a
know,
lot of publishers are going now.
yeah, it's
Not
it's.
uncommon.
I see people complaining all over Reddit about it. I understand it to a point, but at the
That's what
same
everybody
time,
does,
people
though.
have just come to expect, whatever they want out of the game. That if it changes at all, they cry and whine. I have no issues with it.
Okay.
But anyway,
Yeah, so Call of Duty XP. It's
Woo.
a thing. It's happening.
Call of Duty. There's your bad rap.
Call of Duty. I almost typed that in for the now discussing. But I decided not to. That was going to be nice. Alright, so another gaming and gaming adjacent news. We have the Warcraft movie coming out today in some areas and tomorrow everywhere stateside. Looking forward to seeing it.
yeah, I think it'll be good. Like, I mean, it is getting poor reviews, and I mean, it from what I've read, it's the same, video game movie cliche that every video game movie has had, somewhat half-assed writing and whatnot. But if you're a fan of Warcraft, you're gonna like the movie from everything I've seen.
Yeah, that also
I am.
seems to be the consensus that I'm getting from early impressions and people who attended the premiere and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, I expect going into it, I expect to like it. I take it for what it is.
Changing the topic, Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll be excited to see everything that I once imagined to be real. You know?
No, for sure.
Like cities that you rode your mount through and you're like, wow, it would be sweet if you could actually walk through Stormwind.
Dude, I'm so pumped to see Stormwind.
You know,
So,
right?
like, full on, like, pumped to see that.
I'd really love to see how shitty they make Undercity look. Like, you know how shitty Undercity looks in the game?
Mm-hmm.
To be realistic, it has to look like 10 times shittier. You know? Like,
Are
to
we going
actually...
to see Undercity?
I don't know. But, like, if we do, it's going to look 10 times shittier. I don't even know how you could do that, but...
Yeah. We were talking about this a little bit last night, but I'm also excited by the potential for even more Warcraft movies, knowing the lore that's coming up.
Then you'd see
Specifically
Undercity.
the Arthless. Yeah, you'd see the hell out of Undercity, especially Arthas' timeline.
Yeah.
Are you
What
planning
I've
on
read-
going to see the movie, Joe?
I might. I'll probably go.
Alright, that way
Who
we can
knows?
actually talk about it.
Yeah, maybe.
From what I've read, it seems like there's a good chance they do like a trilogy of some sort. So
Okay. I could be down for that. I mean, I'm gonna go see it.
I know it's doing super well in China, which usually if that's the case, they'll do another one.
Doing super well in China.
China, where they have that
This
whole
is just
copyright
in.
infringing
I mean, the
Blizzard
thing is, that's
ban.
why Pacific Rim is getting another movie because it did okay in the States, and then it went over to China and killed at the box office.
You would think China wouldn't be that okay with Japanese tropes, but hey, what do I know?
Hey, what do you know?
Apparently not much. I am okay with that.
Hey, okay.
I'm trying to think of how to tie these two topics together, and I can't. So,
You just segue.
yeah, I'm trying to segue. I was
What you're
trying to come up
supposed
with
to do
a
is-
clever segue.
You just say segue.
Oh, just segue? Just
You just
segue,
like-
boom, boom.
Segue.
Subway.
Segue. Anyway, segueing over to
No,
Twitch's
it's not
birthday.
segueing. You
I
just say
am-
segue.
just segue. It's Twitch's birthday, in case you didn't know.
It is
Specifically their 5th birthday?
5 years.
5 years.
Sounds like you know what you're talking about.
I
Read
didn't do any research.
read 2 tree tweets.
Google it.
So yeah, and the whole reason that I remembered this because I was looking through my notification feed to find topics for tonight, and I saw Nick's post that the T-shirts are on sale, and I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta get that.
Yeah, I bought mine.
Nice.
Oh, is that the CS:GO one?
No,
No.
that's the evolution of a gamer one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and they rarely do Twitch shirts anymore. So in addition to being like a pretty neat design, it's a Twitch shirt. I'm probably gonna pick that up at some point.
It's on sale till the, I believe, 20th or so. So
So we got plenty of time, 10, 11 days. So happy birthday, Twitch. We're all getting to know you, getting to love you, getting to become quite familiar with you in our adventures into branding, design, and gaming culture. Posting this podcast on you right now. So cheers to you, Twitch. Happy birthday.
Here's to you.
And another surprising news. Surprising to a bunch of people for some reason who apparently did not attend PAX. We finally see footage of Cuphead's platforming levels.
yeah, no, I mean, it looks interesting.
Mhm.
I don't know. Like I watched it. The game I have a lot high hopes for after playing it.
Yeah.
Not so sure about the platforming yet. I want to see more. It looked
Yeah,
boring.
it's gonna. I
Yes.
was gonna say, yeah, it looked a little.
But
I could see it being chaotic, but it wasn't the most exciting thing to watch.
I know a lot of the people that saw the trailer, especially on Reddit at least, didn't know there was going to be platforming.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing that came out of it for me. It was just like, oh yeah, here's platforming, and I was like, yeah, cool. We talked to the guy about this at PAX.
So,
Apparently, nobody in games journalism bothered to pick up on the fact that there would be platforming introduced to Cuphead in any major capacity.
the game was fun from what we played, so I'm definitely excited to see more of that.
Okay, now the question I have for this is initially the game was just going to be the boss rush mode that we played at PAX. Do you think that they're going to release the game as it was originally envisioned, or do you think it's going to be the game with these platforming sections only now?
I think it'll be just the game with the platforming. I don't see them doing two separate.
You don't think they'll have like the adventure mode and then a boss rush mode for people who want just the boss fights?
They might, maybe. I don't see it being like a separate game or anything.
Yeah, not like a separate game.
I
But maybe
definitely
like a
think the
second
main,
mode.
obviously the main game is going to be the with the platforming and stuff.
Mhm.
So, but I haven't heard anything about it like for sure. We'll see.
Yeah, I kind of hope that they do because I know that boss rush mode is something that was the appeal for a large number of people.
See now, when I
it was
originally
first announced.
saw it when it was first announced, I didn't look too much into it. I saw, okay, this looks cool. I just assumed there was
aesthetic.
platforming
That's what caught you.
from the get-go, and then I heard about it that there wasn't, and I'm like, okay, that's cool too because these boss fights look awesome.
Mhm.
As long as there's enough of them, that'll keep me interested.
It seems like there's enough of them in combination with the difficulty.
Yeah, no, it's the fact that they're adding platforming and stuff is just better, even better. I think it'll be good.
Did the sound effects sound any different to you from the version that we played at PAX?
I honestly don't remember. They did sound weird a little bit to me in the trailer.
Yeah,
But
something a little different about him, I think. Especially like that parry sound. I remember it like being more of a slap, or maybe that was when you were just reviving somebody. Because you had to revive me a lot, so I heard the sound quite a bit.
yeah. No, I don't remember, to be honest.
Okay, I was curious. That's all. Yeah, Cuphead will be releasing on Xbox One and PC this year, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm pretty
I think
positive.
it's still slated for release this year.
I'm like 99% positive.
Cool. That's one of the ones that's higher on my list that I keep forgetting about every once in a while. I'll let it slide out of my focus, which is unfortunate because that game deserves the attention, even purely for the aesthetic. I love that old early Disney aesthetic. It's the best way I think to describe it. And they just nail it. So,
Yeah, no, I agree.
exciting.
Just nailing it.
Nailing it. Have you seen anything about Cuphead, Joe?
No.
No? Alright.
You know me, man. Total indie gamer.
I was just curious.
No.
The aesthetic's cool. I think you'd appreciate it at least for that regard.
Let me look it up on you, Google.
I just had the trailer playing up on the strum,
Oh yeah.
but it's probably behind now because I already cut it.
Yeah. Ooh, Cuphead. Wow.
Cuphead and Mugman.
It's like Popeye
Yeah, same era of
art style.
cartooning. The sounds are, the art is. It's just really, really cool.
Looks pretty cool, yeah. I'd play that.
Hard as hell. Oh, the game's a bitch.
That's kind of a personal thing.
Yeah. It was easier for Nick, I would argue.
That's a cool image.
There any other headlines you guys saw that you want to discuss?
Your face.
Not much to
not
talk
really.
about there. Pretty unimpressive. I thought there might have
I mean,
been.
there's a new Destiny expansion got announced today. It's not really. We don't know too much about it.
We do know that last gen consoles are being left in the dust.
Yes, which I'm glad that is starting. I mean, it kind of started already, but the more game companies start leaving last gen consoles behind, the better off everyone will be.
Everyone that isn't on a last gen console.
Correct.
Everybody who isn't fortunate enough to have the newest, latest, and greatest.
To be fair, they've been out for a couple of years now. Like, if chances are, if you're gonna get one, you've gotten one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I heard that the other day that somebody said that they could play old Xbox games on 360 and stuff now.
On the one, you mean?
Is that what it's called? Whatever.
Yeah. They started doing a little backwards compatibility stuff, and
That's one of the things that
Well,
PlayStation
B
needs to
words.
catch up on. Excuse me, is the backwards compatibility game.
yeah, I can do a whole segment on or a whole podcast on the PlayStation stuff that they've been doing.
We'll have to keep that in mind.
Dude, that's funny as shit. Xbox 360.
Throwing
Like,
it way,
it's-
way back.
That's how much I pay attention to console gaming, right? What is that? Is that a tiny motherboard with a tiny microchip that overheats really easily? Oh,
That's outdated by 5 years.
yeah, yeah. Like if you can put a towel around something and fix it, that's good for you. It's a well-made component.
Oh, that's too funny. Yeah, I think that just about covers it for gaming news. Let's take one more last look. I don't really see anything.
Gaming news. Yeah. All of these should have really cool intros like that, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Transition. Oh, da-da-da. That's interesting. Yeah, so looks like gaming news is spent. If you want other news, there are better places to find that. These are just the topics that we're interested in. So sorry about your bad luck.
Isn't that a Taylor Swift song?
Sorry about your bad luck.
Sorry about your bad. Maybe I'm thinking.
I couldn't
Is that
tell
bad
you.
luck?
Bad blood?
Bad blood.
Bad blood. Bad blood. Well,
Yeah.
apparently
Know all about
you
that Taylor
can
Swift.
tell me.
Ah.
The things,
So, maybe one other thing we could talk about for a little bit is that a bunch of streamers are getting their hands on the alpha for Lawbreakers, which is another game that Nick and I have played at PAX. And the general gaming consensus, not too impressed by it based on what I've seen.
No, I mean, I haven't seen too much.
Mm-hmm.
I know, at least from Cliffy B's point of view, it seems like a lot of streamers are trying to play it like Call of Duty, though.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't really help.
I see a lot of moments from him where he's just like, remember, you can blind fire behind you with control.
I've seen probably about 6 or 7 tweets in the last 2 days from him about, hey, remember to hit control for blind fire. Remember to
Yeah.
do that. 'Cause
He's really
nobody
trying to
does
sell
it.
people on that. One of the things that I saw from Mike B actually is that he's a little bit confused by this trend of what he calls 75% movement speed team-based shooters, which is funny because one of the things that Lawbreakers really wants you to think about the game is that it's a fast-paced game, but it
Yeah,
feels
it's
slow, especially in
definitely not.
comparison to Overwatch. After having played Overwatch, even
Yeah.
I mean, originally I thought it was pretty fast paced, and then the more I
thought about it. Yeah,
it wasn't fast paced at all.
and she's like, "Yeah, that really wasn't that fast." Now that we think about it, our reactions were like, "Oh yeah, we were pretty hype about it. That was pretty fast." And then the more and more we talked about it, the more and more we realized it felt kind of slow, like disappointingly slow.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And the other really big bit of information I saw coming out of that is that we have more of your heroes or whatever classes, we'll use the generic term classes, coming in that game, which isn't too surprising because we knew we had at least like a tracking class coming.
I mean, I want the game to last, but personally, I don't think it's gonna last very long.
Yeah, it's a little late to the table, unfortunately. I'm gonna play it if I get into like alpha beta. Whether or not I buy it is a different story. We'll have to see what kind of state the game's in closer to release.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely 100% gonna play it. But,
I like the graphics.
It's a pretty game, made
Yeah.
in Unreal, if I remember right. Very much
Yeah.
an aesthetic that's within Cliffy B's wheelhouse, so I don't think it's too surprising there. He's not doing anything revolutionary in that regard.
No, not really.
Not a big
He
buff
knows.
dudes
I mean,
in
he
armor.
knows what to do when it comes to games. So,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
So I think that's just gonna about wrap it up for the gaming segment, unless some random stroke of genius hits us later on and we absolutely have to talk about it. That's gonna bring us into the design portion of the podcast. And with that, I'd like to open up with talking a little bit about Adobe Premiere because I just released my first edited video in Premiere this week, and boy, was that an experience.
Wasn't it an experience?
It was an
Chris?
experience. I felt transformed after having released that video.
I use Sony Vegas, so I can't.
I use Sony Trash. Yeah. No, I used Sony Vegas before Premiere, but you know.
It was a very weird feeling because I had known about the editing process beforehand, and it all started out with me like wanting to just make like an outro end slate for one of my Overwatch highlights. And so I had to like go and design the background and the template and the cutout and all that kind of fun stuff, and then I edited it in and sync up all the video frames for each of the cutouts. And it took not only longer than I expected, but at the end it felt good. Like it felt like it was a rewarding task that I had just completed. And I kind of jokingly, kind of seriously said that I felt more proud having published that video than I have of anything I've done in the past, let's say, 6 to 8 years.
Sarcasm is based upon truth, Chris.
Yeah. Just cut a little bit of me out when I say I felt more proud about finishing that video than I did graduating college, if that tells you anything. Just like,
Wow.
yeah, I finished another second piece of school, and that video, I accomplished something. I learned about how to like keyframe and use these buttons with the help of the internet and Joe. And as I was thinking about talking it for the show, one of the things that hit me is just like there really isn't an excuse for not learning something new these days. Whether it's just simply because of the fact that you can Google it. Like, don't know how to do this? Google it. You know, there's videos, there's all kinds of message boards of people willing to help out if you're trying to learn something new. So, go learn something new. If I can learn how to use Premiere, even on a very rudimentary level right now, you can go learn how to do whatever it is you've been putting off for a long time.
If I can teach myself how to use Photoshop, After Effects, Premiere, Dreamweaver, Illustrator
Yeah, exactly.
from the
It can
internet.
be done.
Yeah.
With the help of the internet and some friends.
Yeah, I mean it's just practice and critique and referencing what you know works.
Yeah. Even it goes back to that imitation you were talking about last week. Just
Yeah.
start with simple imitation, and then you'll learn all the little tips and tricks, and then eventually you'll develop your own style. And that's how that all begins. Is just making the first thing. So go make shit. To continue that theme,
Make shit.
make shit, make shit, and make it happen.
Make shit. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's good to put pen on paper to actually make something that you can't maybe not physically hold in your hands, but it's like a tangible
Yeah,
experience
I made
that
this
somebody else
thing.
can have.
Yeah, you can go see this thing that I made right here, and just it's there for the world to see.
Yeah, that's where it starts, you know?
It's there for the world to dislike and call me gay for in the comments and tell me to go cut myself. But it's there, and I feel proud of it, even though it's a steaming pile.
So raw he is. So raw.
Anything new in the design world happening since the last podcast, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, Pixel Squid is killing it right now. They're they're the 3D asset program that we made the YouTube videos about. We did a tutorial and a time lapse for them, and it's a really cool asset hub program for 3D images, and a lot of photo manipulation artists have been taking to it to use the 3D assets, and there's some really cool stuff on there.
Would you
Other than
say
that,
it's a space that was like previously unoccupied, and now that it's there, everybody's just like, finally,
oh
one of
yeah,
those things.
yeah, it was like an empty market segment, and then they came in with like the best product you could imagine, because
Yeah.
like the way everything is rendered is just so crystal clear, and all the assets are very usable. I think the next best thing, like their competition, is going to have a better plugin or something, that makes them more fluid. It
Okay.
makes the process of turning and editing the object and maybe adding kind of distortions to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
I
come
mean,
to
I don't.
understand.
Yeah, I mean, like you could. So, like in Cinema 4D, you can add distortions that'll like break up objects in different patterns, and um, you can kind of turn everything on different angles in whatever degrees you want. And in Pixel Squid, it's kind of you're not completely limited, but it's like 250 degrees instead of 360. So
Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice step. You seem to be enjoying it quite a bit, and
yeah,
they seem to be appreciating all the love being thrown their way. They seem to have been pretty active within their own community.
yeah, for sure. I think it's a cool way to. I mean, I'm more of a designer for products for solutions, and there's people who design for kind of the art of it, and it works for both of those. It does it. Um, I've seen a lot of cool things made with it, from branding to product mock-ups. I did a product mock-up with it just to show, how easy it is to make a manipulation. There's going to be a video coming for that too, but I mean, it's super simple, and it's something that we've never had before to use, and right now it's free, so you know,
Free helps.
yeah,
Definitely helps get your name out there. Cough, cough, Discord.
yeah. And I mean, I think that's the best way to launch it, right?
Yeah.
Is you launch for free, and it's basically a beta. And then once they're gonna do it, like their plan here is probably, okay, we have 100 assets that we're gonna release over 4 weeks, right? And then after those 4 weeks, we're going to add another 100 assets, whatever their step is. So their model is adding, and then once they get to like where they feel they can charge for it, they're gonna charge for it.
Mm. Yeah.
But
I think it's smart.
I mean, maybe even Adobe will buy it. Who knows? Like Adobe bought Dollar Photo, which was like the best stock site ever because it was quite literally that. It was a dollar photo. Most photos were dollar photo. I think every photo was a dollar photo. You know.
Nice.
And then you go to like other sites and it's like, oh, this is $25 for an image you're going to use for the background on a presentation.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, okay, well, dollar photo seems pretty freaking good right now. So
Yeah, like when I was looking for a backdrop for that end slate that I was talking about, I was looking
Yeah.
for like royalty-free images, and she's like, "Oh, you can have this one for $45 if you don't get a subscription." I was just like, "Fuck that! I'll just go find something else, thanks."
well, there is Pexels and Unsplash, which are two really good assets for public domain imagery, and you can use all those pictures there, and they're taken and cataloged by like professional photographers, or I mean, you don't have to be professional, but they're all high quality, as I should say. All
good.
really high resolution, yeah. So they scale really nicely. And that's what I pretty much use for anything that kind of has a Gaussian blur or is the background on something. I just go grab something from there.
Cool.
And yeah, I mean, for like web design, I used a large majority of stock images from those two sites to create a bunch of content. So I saved a ton of money by doing that too,
Yeah.
which is so key.
Oh, yeah, especially starting out when you're not getting any kickbacks from your designs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to try to remember to include links to those in the description for this video. So if you're a designer or a fledgling asset accumulator, you can check those out for yourself. So, Nick, you're awfully quiet over there.
I don't really have anything to add to this. Or anything, I don't know anything Joe's talking about, so.
Okay, fair enough.
What about what do you think of the overall Overwatch design, Nick?
What do you mean, like the look of it?
Yeah.
I think there are a few things that can be changed in terms of button placement
Yeah.
and unnecessary amount of clicks. But other than that, I like it. I like the aesthetic of it. It's a Blizzard game. Usually it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's
I find it interesting how big their buttons are. Like they're freaking. That's like a double cheeseburger size button.
Yeah, no, it's definitely odd,
yeah,
kind of.
I think it's a console thing though, right? That's the only guess I could
I
think
have
of.
to I have to think it is.
Oh, I dropped a bunch of frames. What the hell? Yeah, that's the only guess I could come up with though, is that because it's also hosted on console and people typically sit further away from their TV screens, is those buttons are so big, and then they just failed to include a UI rescaling option for the PC version of the game. I would love to see a UI rescaling option. It's one of those features you don't see often in games, but I appreciate it so goddamn much when it's there.
Yeah, no, it's
Or
definitely
or a
for
plug-in section.
FPS games. I definitely like it.
I'm one of those guys that plays with like a really high FOV and try to get my HUD as small as I can with it still being useful. Just
Yeah.
because I like to see as much of the game as I can. I need that immediately useful information readily available without being intrusive.
Yeah, like WoW, I just had like the minimalist friggin'
Yep.
like UI, the
Yeah.
Lua UI platform.
And then I had all my stuff like on the outer edges of the screen, except for my focus if I was healing, that was like right next to my character. Because I needed to know like how they were doing and all that fun stuff.
Sure.
Added it to the document. Nice.
I wonder if games will ever add like a 3D asset. You know, like Overwatch. Overwatch pretty much provides everything that any Blizzard game has provided before.
You're talking through
And
the reference guides?
I'm talking about just like their whole media section. Like for me, as somebody who uses a lot of their resources to like create stuff, um, I've always gone through WoW's. This is like 10 years going back, even on the old site. gone to like the media wallpaper page and downloaded wallpapers to use for something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even just simple stuff, backgrounds and stuff like that. So to me, it would make sense if I was a game to provide more content for people to create with.
Yeah.
And I think I don't even care. I don't like. I get they want us to watch these Overwatch videos because they're on YouTube. I really don't give a shit about them. Like, if I'm gonna watch those, I'm gonna go to YouTube and watch them. I'm not gonna watch them on your website. I wish they had like 3D asset models or a better way for people to grab. I mean, they do have a lot of images. They have all the concept art. They have the reference kits and stuff like that. It's just
They wish you
I
could
don't.
see the models.
Yeah, and I just wish there was a better experience. Like team up with Pixel Sword and get your characters. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
the what they've provided isn't anything new technology, and I think the gaming community is going to eventually demand things like that.
Yeah.
Where, especially since there's so many young gaming entrepreneurs that are designing and creating content, they're eventually going to need to provide those solutions to games. You know, what if the whole element? I mean, I think it'll evolve too. Maybe like eventually, uh, maybe providing that content will be one of the bigger competitive edges you have. You know, like what if, for example, you could do what you do in APB where you style your character
Mm-hmm.
and then you could export your character uh, through a program built into the software and then save him out, you know? Then you'd have your character like as an asset.
Yeah.
How cool would that be?
It'd be pretty neat.
And that would drive you to play the game more because then you'd unlock stuff to design your character with. And I mean, you can already do that with ABB. It's not technically like it's against the terms of service, so but you can export them as assets and rewireframe them.
I think it's
And
only a matter of time before we see somebody either redo the models or find some way to rip them, kind of like with what happened with WoW. Even when it
yeah,
just reads the model files through a separate program, or even Wowhead, which allows you to view 3D models with different sets of gear on in the instance of WoW. But I think people are eventually going to figure out how to view them or rip them, and then that's when they start saving them, downloading them, and distributing them.
yeah,
Should it be done by Blizzard from the start? Probably. That way we have like a good quality base to work with. I know for me, that's not something I'm personally interested in, but even like the reference kits came in handy when I was looking for color palettes for thumbnails for my Overwatch highlight videos. I have
except for
those
most
colors
of
to
them
work with.
sucked.
Yeah, they're kind of washed out for whatever reason
Like
compared to the
even
character
that,
models.
they could have teamed up with Adobe and gave Adobe color swatches so that you could import them into, you know what I mean? Like there's just
Make like character libraries.
yeah, make it easier for us to market for you. Like I was you know,
Yeah.
here's things that already exist from places that want you people to be using them. Okay, download this, import it with Adobe. Download this file, save it out. You know?
Maybe they're simply not aware that that market exists.
Oh,
Maybe you should hit them up and just be like, hey, Blizzard,
they have to hit the market, dude.
help us advertise your game for you.
Yeah.
Who do I talk to? Is it your marketing people? Is it your art department? Who do you need to put me in contact with so that we can make sure this happens?
Let's build you a better community,
No,
Blizzard.
fuck it. Hire me. I'll do the work for you.
How can left click culture help you?
Help me help you. Help the
Helping me.
community.
Yeah, the community. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like if I was an indie game and I had like, say you're an indie game, but you have like and this is probably like a really bad example because it's kind of utopian, but you're an indie game and you have like the right amount of funding just to produce your game and all this, and it like goes smoothly, through the processes. What if you were doing marketing by like launching resources, like come design a video for us, here's the 3D assets. Here's a video contest. You win X through, whatever.
I think some places do that. There's an indie company that sent me like official box art and screenshots. They didn't send me like assets or anything, but some do send like what they call either a media kit or a press kit before the game comes out with
Yeah.
2D images. Maybe it's just that 3D modeling and asset manipulation are so new, it's just not included in that package yet. Maybe it's only a matter of time. Once something like Pixel Squid really takes off and they see, oh, people are really grasping onto that and want these 3D assets, maybe then we'll see it.
Yeah, man, but I just feel like, if you're not there when it's hot, you're not there at all. It's just what it is.
I don't know. I don't see Pixel Squid going anywhere. Or
Oh, I know
programs
that.
like it.
I know
So
that.
it's still in its infancy would be the best way to put it, I guess. It'd be nice if those things were available at launch, but it's one of those things where once it catches somebody's eye and somebody like Blizzard does it, then more companies will start doing it. It just needs that spark.
Yeah. Well, like one of the things Amazon's been doing now is they'll have like product videos. So like if you go to their site when you're not logged in, there's this girl spinning in a dress. It's like a video that's, it has a transparent background or whatever background you want, but just a little video that plays.
Hmm.
And it's cool to be able to have that. Oh, that and like 3D viewing of products. So products shot so that you can see them and turn them and spin them in the browser.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So that's like really, I mean, it's the technology's there to do it.
It's just slowly being implemented.
Yeah.
Slowly.
So
Interesting stuff. Hopefully we'll see that kind of stuff in the future. Maybe with your guys, you being the audience's help, you can let companies like these know that these are things that we want and things that we need in order to continue creating new designs and pushing the boundaries of design and helping them out at the same time.
that's who really makes the game. The truth is, I mean, they'll say that to you. We make the game.
Yeah.
They build the framework and we make it.
I think you could definitely say something like that with Minecraft even. Like
Yeah.
they made a game and then people went crazy with it, creating all sorts of other games in it. Even Little Big Planet. Because people were able to make their own games within that. Stuff like Trials, sure they made the game and then people came up with entire other games within the Trials map editor. They took a game about dirt bikes and stunt riding and made, I don't know, like marble maze games out of it and all sorts of just really cool stuff. Just goes back to show you get creative, people. Stay creative.
Yeah.
Keep experimenting. Keep pushing those
Yeah, man.
boundaries.
And that goes back to
Good
doing
stuff.
what you love. You gotta have that motivation to really, to do that. You gotta really want to be pushing it. You gotta be chasing the dream because if you're just waiting around for something to happen and nothing's gonna happen.
I would agree. There's a guy that I work with who thinks something good's gonna happen to him eventually. He's like, wouldn't you agree? I was just like, not really. You have to work to make good things happen. If something good happens to you and it's just by chance, then awesome. You lucked out. You can't rely on that happening, though.
Yeah, it's the truth.
I can even use an example from this week. I was streaming Tuesday. Wasn't really feeling it, but I wanted to stay productive, so I called the stream after like an hour and a half, and I started working on that. I started working on learning how to do Premiere, and I started working on thumbnails, and still use that time to be productive and chase that thing that I was passionate about. It just didn't happen to be streaming that night. It just wasn't clicking for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I kept at it, and I ended up with something I'm pretty happy with.
I gotta pull up this quote from Gary Vee that I saw today because it's apt. And if you don't know, Gary Vee is like an entrepreneur, who I'm pretty big into. He's really big on social media marketing and content marketing. Basically, by bringing value up front and then having a straightforward ask. So, by creating a selling point, a way to get you their goods by teaching you how to use them. You know, it's like you're teaching them, you're training them, and then you're selling them the thing that they need to use to do the work they need,
Yeah,
kind of thing. So,
smart.
yeah, it's that's their value proposition. It's um, jab, jab, right hook. Uh, oh, here it is. Are you willing to bleed out of your fucking eyes for your dream?
That's pretty funny.
It's the truth, man. Simple question. Are you willing to do it? And that's what you should ask yourself. You know,
Hmm.
and I mean, there's hobbies. You could do hobbies.
Yeah.
Hobbies are cool. That's cool.
Everybody should
But
have hobbies.
yeah, but don't have expectations for hobbies.
Yeah.
You know, don't go on this. You know, if you're going on Twitch and you're like, yeah, man, I'm gonna be a streamer. I'm gonna get signed by place brand here, and I'm gonna be doing all their designs when I play Call of Duty, and it's gonna be this energy drink and this, I don't know, you know, whatever Gamma Labs, whatever everybody from that fucking culture designs.
Gaming.
Gamma Labs. Look at this. Oh, it's a Photoshop. Um, but yeah, dude. I mean, it's you got to really look at it and be like, I love this. You
Yeah.
know, I love what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Speaking from my personal experience, soccer is something that I enjoy. It's very much a hobby for me, though. Like, I take it super casually. I don't put any sort of professionalism into that. Would be the best way for me to phrase that. Other than, like trying to stay somewhat in shape versus this whole new media, video editing and streaming thing. I put more time into, more focus into, because it's a little bit more than a hobby for me at this point. Yes, I enjoy doing it, but I want to put that extra effort in. I'm willing to bleed through my eyes for this and not for soccer.
sure, man. I just need to get better at sleeping and waking up to my alarm.
Yeah.
I was literally
Me too.
like a month ago, I was a machine, dude. It was like I would go to bed at like 12, wake up at 6:30. You know, or I would. There was like a week. Well, there was one week where I was like going to bed at 8, waking up at like 12, working from 12 to like 5, doing the same thing over and over. Just like it was blissful having that late day nap
Yeah,
and then
late
waking
nights.
up and working all night. Oh, dude.
So, as a funny little anecdote in relation to that quote, one of the editors at Funhouse, Elise, she like popped a blood vessel in her eye the other week, and that quote made me think of that because in a couple of the videos, like the right half of her left eye was just solid red. And she's like, oh, wasn't literally bleeding from her eye, but there was blood trapped in her eye. And I was just like, oh, that's kind of funny. She got there the same way. Just making videos,
Yeah.
keeping at it. What do you think about this whole thing, Nick?
I saw a video today on Reddit of Mike Rowe talking about how, it's good to have passion and stuff, but don't blindly follow your passion for your entire life. You sometimes have to be realistic about things. Kind of a more gloomy approach, but
He's not wrong at the end of the day. You don't
No.
want to bleed yourself dry.
no, I mean it's very cliche, but like doing like art for an example, there's not much money in that type of thing nowadays. If you're trying to be like a painter, say,
Yeah.
unless you're like extremely good,
Are you talking about becoming rich, or are you talking about following your passion and being successful?
I'm talking about following your passion and you not actually being able to make a living off of it. Sometimes
Yeah.
you have to be realistic with what you're doing.
Well, I mean, I think you don't have to. I mean, I guess you're right, because being realistic would be like, well, I really want to be an artist, but I'm gonna have to live this certain lifestyle. So I choose to do that because I'm an artist. That's being realistic, right? Is that what you're saying?
In a sense, yeah. Or
Like,
you've been doing it for 15 years and you've gotten nowhere with it. Or like it's early to say something like that, but it kind of that type of way, I guess.
Yeah. You've seen Bo Burnham's new special, right, Nick?
No, it's actually on my. I saw a clip of it today.
He's got this whole segment that's great about following your dreams and how everybody that was born in the 90s was raised to follow their dreams and
yeah.
that not everybody's going to realistically make it. And he has, and he got lucky and he became successful in what he does and he's unhappy doing it. Whereas, like,
It's,
other people in life are happy.
That's on Netflix, isn't it?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
To watch that.
I recommend watching it. Bo Burnham Make Happy is the name of it, if I remember correctly. It's worth the watch.
Yeah, no, I
if
saw a
you're
clip of him
interested to watch.
talking. It was like the country song one.
Oh, dude, I
It's
watched
really
that part
funny.
today.
I saw it on
Pandering.
Reddit today,
The
and
song's
it
all
was
about
really good.
pandering, and it's great. I'm just like, yes, this is exactly why I don't enjoy country music.
You know what I'd say that would be a little bit more positive than than what's it called, be realistic, would be play to your strengths.
Yeah.
You know, like find what you're good at and identify it, and then figure out how to position it so that you can make it a part of what you love. You know what I mean? So like here's an example. You're an artist and you're decent at painting, but you're like Nick saying you've been doing it for a long time. You realize, you want to have a certain lifestyle and you need to make money doing it. So maybe you take your passion for art and then you become like an art, seller, you sell art, or maybe you become somebody who helps artists market themselves and they pay you to do that,
Mm.
work. So,
Yeah, it's kind of almost like me with history. I enjoy history. It's what my degree's in. I don't want to be a historian. That's
yeah.
not what I want to do. So I'm trying to find ways, like history adjacent things. I wrote my thesis on the application and the state of video games in the field of history because it marries like my two interests, I guess. And it's such a new idea that a lot of the staff at the school didn't really understand it, and it made writing my thesis just absurdly difficult. But I got more enjoyment out of it than I would have had I just stuck with something that was straight history.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, in a way, you kind of are still doing history. Like social media is kind of the encapsulation or the modern
mhm.
scribe of our life.
Oh yeah,
Somebody's gonna look back and be like, "Wow, those assholes, man! They thought they were so important that they had to say 160 characters every 10 minutes."
oh yeah.
You
You've
know?
got to watch that segment of the Make Happy special. He talks about everybody having their own audience. It's great.
Yeah.
But what was I gonna say? My initial topic was gonna be on new media in history, everything from like live streaming stuff as it happens, like seeing periscopes of riots in Greece and the Middle East, and how that's sort of gonna shape and affect history going forward. And then eventually I transitioned from that to games because there's simply more research available on games. There wasn't a ton. That new media within the field of history was such a new idea that nobody had really written anything on it. So it's a bit unrealistic for me to write a thesis on it at that point in my historical career.
Because you have to reference stuff.
Yeah,
It sucks.
I can't, because I'm not enough of an authoritative voice on the subject to pen my own opinions on it and have them be accepted as any sort of fact or even positive contribution, which is annoying. But now that I have a piece of paper that says I'm a historian, I could. Somewhat. But getting a little bit off topic there. I think with that inspirational message about following your dreams, as long as you do so smartly, we're probably going to wrap things up for the night. So thank you so much for tuning in to the second sleepy, rambly edition of the Left Click Culture podcast. My name is Chris. You can follow me on Twitter at Chris Butler II and on Twitch at twitch.tv/cbutler2067. In the coming days, we've got some more Overwatch headed your way on Twitch. And next week, I'm going to be working on an indie game preview for you guys for YouTube. It's going to be my first longer form piece of edited YouTube content. Looking forward to getting that out to you guys. I don't have a custom YouTube URL, so I'm going to make sure that finds its way in the description down below, along with everybody else's social media details.
Oh, are you?
Yes,
Just
I'm
kidding.
going to force you to put that in the description.
I'm gonna
So,
force
yeah.
you to put your video on my YouTube page.
No, not my video, just my link to my YouTube or my YouTube channel.
No,
So yeah,
I meant
that's
what I said.
what I have coming down the pipeline for this week up until next week's podcast.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's been swell. Once again, my name is Joe, and this week we'll probably get some weekend look for some Overwatch graphics. I definitely promised more than just a couple of Twitter banners, so I have to finish the packages. Look for the first edition of the Left Click Culture podcast and the second edition of the Left Click Culture podcast this weekend on YouTube. What else can I tell you? Been doing some cool stuff. Keep an eye on our Instagram and Twitter. Left Click Culture on Instagram, at Left Click on Twitter, Left Click Culture on Facebook. We're also on Pinterest. I don't know why, because I made it late at night, and yeah, we're gonna be posting stuff there. So if you're on Pinterest, pin us. What is that? I don't know. What's
Oh,
up?
that
Nick?
works.
I have no idea how Pinterest works, so that one's all you.
But
I
I'm
imagine
Nick.
Pinterest is going to be mostly design stuff, if I
Yeah.
had to take a guess.
It's
I'm
good
Nick.
sales funnel.
I fucking died.
All right.
Bro.
Go, Nick.
We done?
Yep,
Wait,
Can
what's
I-
his name
all
again? Is it Nick?
I'm John.
you. Your hat
I'm
says
Nick.
Mac, though.
You can follow me on Twitter. I changed my @ to at the Dill Pickles, DILPIICKLES, because every other iteration was taken.
I think it was a smart move nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of that was a real Linkin Park thing he needed to do to put all those E's in there.
Jesus.
We're done here.